still can't get over that one scene. What's up, it's Andre, and today I want to talk to you about Godzilla vs. Kong. It is now out in theaters and on HBO Max, but I actually got to see it because there was a special screening that happened at a drive-in, or they made a drive-in to show the movie, and I got to go to it. So that was really cool because I have not seen a movie in public since the lockdown, since the quarantine. All my movies have been at home, and I haven't been to a drive-in in years. I think the last drive-in movie I ever saw was Aragon. It was like in this parking lot, and they had like put a screen together and drive through this parking lot and like check in, and then you got like some food. They had popcorn there and sliders, and I got that little Godzilla toy right there. And then I had to park my car and turn my lights off, and they had the screen ready to go. The screen looked really good, and I was in my car by myself just watching the movie. The look of it was great. Of course, I was seeing it through the slightly fogged windshield of my car, but you know, it looked good. The sound was okay. There was definitely a little bit of static because, you know, you're getting it through an FM signal. At least that's the way they had it. I've heard there's some that do it digitally nowadays, but this was through an FM signal. So there were sometimes you get like a little static coming in, interference from whatever is out there. I mean, the big sounds came in when Godzilla roared, when Kong roared, that all came through. It's just sometimes when the humans talk that it was a little bit like, what you should say? But it's Godzilla versus Kong. I wasn't really worried too much about what the humans were saying. This movie is all about Godzilla versus Kong, and that's what I wanted to see, and that's what it gave me. And anytime it gave me that on the screen, I was happy. They fight. They only fight a couple of times in the movie, but they fight more than once. And when they do, it is an extended fight. Like, it is a no holds barred, get into it, rest of the movie, stop, humans, be quiet. Because this is all about Godzilla versus Kong right now. Let them fight. I also like that in the fights, they kept in mind Godzilla and Kong's strengths and weaknesses. Like, Godzilla's a big dude, and he can shoot that out. Kong may not be able to do that, but he can move around a little bit faster. Also, environments play a large part in their fights, depending on if they're on land versus in water, if they're in a city versus open space. Any of those elements could give Kong or Godzilla an advantage or disadvantage. So I thought that was a neat way of, you know, making the fights a little bit more creative so it wasn't just punching all the time. That being said, any punch that happened was so good. Kong just threw them, like, pull them back, hit it forward. And Godzilla, man, Godzilla does not like Kong. There's a one time where Godzilla just like looks at Kong like, I hate you. I freaking hate you, Kong. I'm going to kick your ass. And Kong just like, bring it. I really enjoyed the fights. I would have appreciated even one or two more fights just to keep it going. You know, maybe a little mini fight in there somewhere, or even a flashback fight. They keep talking in the movie about how Kong and Godzilla have been fighting for centuries, or their ancestors have been fighting, or some backstory they tried to give that didn't matter. Supposedly they have some history. I would have liked to maybe seen like a little flashback fight. Maybe even had that fight in black and white to be in honor of the original King Kong and the original Godzilla movies being in black and white. Even something like that could have been a stylistic, cool thing. But you don't just get Godzilla and Kong fighting. You do get some Godzilla solo time. And there's even a little side story that happens with Kong solo that also includes some mini bosses. It's a full CGI fest, but hey, that's what I came to see. So it delivered on that one. It's Godzilla versus Kong in Godzilla versus Kong. That's the good stuff. And the movie knew too. Like, the movie was like, look, we ain't gonna waste your time. This thing's like 2 hours. We know what you want to see. We'll give you as much of it as we can that the CGI budget will allow. Because I feel like if they would have made this movie longer, it probably would have been more human scenes instead of more Kong and Godzilla scenes. I don't need any more of that. I'm good. Of course, there's humans in this movie because they have to be. They have to be there to move the plot along, and that's exactly what they're there for. They're just to keep some extra things going in this movie before we get to the next CGI fest. But hey, if you're watching it at home on HBO Max and you don't care about the humans, you can just go bloop, 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 bloop. The one thing I will say about the humans this go around is at least every character in this had some kind of direct connection to either Godzilla or Kong or the company's Monarch or Apex. There wasn't a lot of side stories about, oh, our relationship is having problems, or how do we keep our family together? Some of that stuff that we've seen in some of the other movies, that ain't here. Everyone's here focused on the mission. The other thing about the human characters is they're not very complex. None of that deep layered stuff is here. It's like, I'm serious. I'm comedic. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I've been following these monsters all this time. I can talk to Kong. And straight up one note villain, like textbook villain, 2 steps away from twirling a mustache and tying a girl to a railroad track. And the movie doesn't even try to hide it. It knows. He has one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie. It is a cheesy as hell scene. Like, it is the most ridiculous scene. It's one of those like, really, we doing this? Keep in mind, I am in a car that should not have a lot of sound travel outside of it. And I was worried that people could hear me because of how loud I was laughing at this one scene. Can you guess what scene I'm talking about? If you have seen Godzilla vs. Kong, can you guess the scene that made me laugh out loud that involved a human character? You also got to suspend disbelief with these humans, man. Like, there's a couple times with these humans where I'm like, how did you not get caught? Giant monsters and giant companies with giant security. How did you just do what you did and that worked? You just gotta let that go. Trust me, it's best to not even think about it. The moment you start trying to ask questions in this movie, it's gonna be a long ride. I still can't get over that one scene. When we hit the final round, the last act of this movie just goes off. The fight is insane. And every single time that I thought the fight was over, the movie was like, no, we got more. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, keep it coming. I'm not gonna stop you. Here's some more fight. Oh, you thought that character won? Guess what? This character's back up again. I'm like, what is going on? This fight continues. I love it. Please keep going. But oh my gosh. And then they're like, you know what? Let's add something else in here. And I'm not gonna say what it is, but you probably know what it is. It's like the worst kept secret of this movie. But even when I thought, okay, we done with this, they were like, a new challenger approaches. This movie is just dumb fun, man, and I love it for it. Like, it's giant monsters fighting each other. Y'all know how I was gonna be about this. It didn't matter. You think I was gonna review this naturally? You're gonna be like, oh, let's give a critical analysis to Godzilla vs. Kong. No, it's a giant lizard and a giant ape fighting each other. Came out of this movie just like Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what people say. I got Godzilla and King Kong fighting each other. I'm good. It's dumb fun. And I freaking love the dumb fun. Now, can we merge Godzilla vs. Kong with the Tom and Jerry movie that came out on HBO Max? Can I get a Tom and Jerry meets Godzilla vs. Kong movie? What'd you think of Godzilla vs. Kong? Did you like it? Did you pass on it? Did you watch it? What'd you think? And can you guess the scene that made me laugh the loudest? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. I just like having fun with movies. So if you like that, subscribe. Love you like a play cousin. Audi 5000.